Okay, so this is the start of multiplying 2-digit by 2-digit numbers. Now, just like before, we are not jumping right in to the standard method. We break it down first so we can understand how it's working. Now, a lot of times you are going to see something like this that has the array on it, okay? This array, you'll never be drawing on your own. You'll be looking at it. And what this array is showing you is pretty much how 24 times 13 has been broken up. You can see the colors. So they have turned 24 into a section of 20 and a section of 4. And that they have turned 13 into a section of 10 and a section of 3. So I'm going to draw this now, and it will not be accurate by any means, but it's just to make a point. It's just to give you an example. So if I'm doing 24 times 13, and I have an array, again, this is a very poor representation of an array, but it's just to make a point. So let's say that this is showing 24 times 13. Okay, it's not accurate. I've just made a square. What I do is I would divide it. Here's 20, here's 4, and let's say here's 10, and here's the 3. So 10 plus 3 is 13, 20 plus 4 is 24. Cool? All right. Now, to figure out in all, I need to find what each little section here is. So to find what this square is, all I'm doing is 10 times 20. 10 times 20 is 200. Then to find what this little guy down here is, I would do 10 times 4. 10 times 4 is 40. Then to do over on this side, to get this part, this is 3 times 20. 3 times 20 is 60. And then 3 times 4 is 12. Now, my next step is to add them all up. Now, I can look at them and add them the way I want, or I can make it go sideways and add 200 plus 60 is 260. And 40 plus 12 is 52. I could add it that way. I could just do it in my head. 60 plus 40 is 100. 100 plus 200 is 300. 300 plus 12 is 312. I can choose any way I want. As long as I am doing 200 plus 60 plus 40 plus 12. It equals 312. Now, again, you won't be drawing this. You will just be looking at this. I showed you this for a reason, because the way we solve it when we see this in our books is by what I call boxing it out. Anytime we see big numbers that don't have zeros in them, we make it easy and find some zeros. We break it apart by place value. So what I do is I make a window. I have 2 on top and I have 2 on bottom. Just like that. There's my window with 2 squares in each. If I'm doing 24 times 13, see how I broke apart this 24 into a 20 and a 4? I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to write a 20 and I'm going to write a 4. And then on this side, I did the same thing as a 10 and a 3. I'm writing a 10 and I'm writing a 3. Now, here's what I'm doing. I am going to multiply each thing. First, I go 20 times 10. What is 20 times 10? 200. Fill that in. Now I do 20 times 3. 60. Okay? So there's my first part. Now I need to do the next part. Now I'm going to do 4 times 10 is, and then I'm going to do 4 times 3, 12. Okay, so each one is getting a turn. Now I add them up. 200 plus 40 is 240. 60 plus 12 is 72. 0 plus 2 is 2. 7 plus 4 is 11. Carry my 1, 2, 3. 312. Same answer. I could also choose to do it this way. 200 plus 60 is 260. Plus 40 plus 12 is 52. 260 plus 52 is 312. I could also just go in my head. Well, I like these two. I'm going to add those up first. Then I'm going to add it to this guy. Then I'm going to shove this one on the end. It's any way you want. However your brain works best. Now, we still have to do the box method though. This is our lesson today. So don't start trying to do a standard yet, because the purpose of this lesson is understanding how we're breaking apart each number. So let's try the box method again with another one. 37 times 26. So I write 37 times 26 equals. I'm going to underline it to show I'm going to work underneath. Okay? I make my box. 37 turns into 30 and 7. 26 turns into 20 and 6. That's it. What do I do first?
30 times 20.
First I do 30 times 20. What's 3 times 2?
6.
How many zeros?
2.
Add them on. Next I do
30 times 6.
30 times 6. So what's 6 times 3?
18.
How many zeros?
1.
Add it on. Now what do I do?
7 times 20.
7 times 20. So what's 7 times 2?
14.
Add on my 0. And then 7 times 6? 42. Okay, now I add them up however I want. For me, I like just going straight across, so I have a new stacked problem. 600 plus 140 becomes 740. 180 plus 42. Okay, so that one takes a little redistribution, so I write it in backwards. 0 plus 2 is 2. 8 plus 4? 12, so I write my 2, and then 1, and then the other one, so 222. If the idea of the redistribution freaks you out because it's too much for your brain, okay, do it this way. 600 plus 180 becomes 780. 140 plus 42 becomes 182. Either way, both of these will get me the same answer. 0 plus 2 is 2. 4 plus 2 is 6. 7 plus 2 is 9. So 37 times 26 is 962. Not so bad, right?
Not so bad.
It's really not that bad. Once you see how it's done, it actually becomes quite simple. All right, let's try another. Let's do a more happy one. 17 times 13. So I write it out, 17 times 13. I underline it, and then I'm going to draw out my box. 17 becomes
10 and 7.
10 and 7. 13 becomes
10 and 3.
10 and 3. Where do I start?
10 times 10.
10 times 10 is?
100.
And then
10 times 3.
10 times 3 is?
30.
Uh-huh. What's next?
7 times 10.
7 times 10 is?
70.
And then?
7 times 3, which is 21.
Very nice. Now what do I do? Add them up. So 100 plus 70 is 170. 30 plus 21 is? 51. Add that. 0 plus 1 is 1. 7 plus 5 is 12. Carry my 1. So 221. Okay, let's do one more together. 24 times 16. So I write it out, I underline it, give me some space for my answer, and then underneath I'm going to draw my box. I start by just making a ginormous plus sign that covers 2 squares on each side. And then I box it out. 24 becomes 20 and 4. 16 becomes 10 and 6. Does it matter what order I put them in?
No.
Does it matter if the 10 and the 6 is up here? No. Not at all. Does not matter what order I put it in. Now, does it matter if I put a 20 here and then the 4 here?
Yeah.
Absolutely. They need to be on the same line. Okay, so 24 cannot be 20 and 4 and 10 and 6 because you've just created a whole new number. Okay, what's my first step?
20 times 10.
20 times 10, which is?
200.
Okay, what's next?
20 times 6.
Okay, which is?
120.
120.
120? Oh, yeah, 120, sorry.
And then 4 times 10 is 40. And then 4 times 6 is 24. You guys are getting the hang of it. Now what? Add them up. 200 plus 40 is 240. 120 plus 24 is 144. Add it up. 0 plus 4, 4. 4 plus 4, 8. 2 plus 1,
3.
so 384 is my answer. Cool?
Yeah.
Now, sometimes they ask you to do it backwards. Sometimes they will just give you the box and they'll be like,
Should we write this?
no, just watch. What multiplication problem is this asking you to solve?
Problem.
So if it's asking you to figure out what the multiplication problem is, all I do is go, okay, well, 10 and 9 is 19. And then 20 and 5 is,
25.
so that's asking me to solve 19 times 25.
Oh.
So sometimes it'll get rid of all of this and just show you this box with all the answers inside of it and everything and be like, what's it trying to solve? What's the beginning point? So we need to be able to understand that this here is that guy. Cool?
Cool.
It's not so bad, right? Once you start getting the hang of it, it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. Yeah, I like it. And you can use this all year long. Anytime you need to double check yourself, this is the best way to do it. It's quick. I'm confident in it. It breaks things down for me. You can always go to this to check your work. Always, except if it's with a single digit, because then it doesn't work. Or I guess it would, it'd just be some zeros. Very cool.